Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing His word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping His word of sincerity and the truth. Okay, I want to go into this quick lesson. I was meditating, my usual meditation place in the shower, and I was just thinking about a couple things. Actually, I got a whole nother topic, whole nother lesson. Two different lessons came to me through the Spirit while I was meditating on different things. And I remembered this quote, which was one topic I wanted to go into. In this quote, it says, "The real flex is how many lives you could possibly impact." And I instantly thought about us being the light of the world, because it's true enough. As this word is going across the four corners of the earth, it's truly impacting the earth in many different ways. But the most important way is how it's positively impacting the elect. Because this is who it's for, and this is who we out here fishing for. This is who we endure all things for. Which I didn't even plan on getting that scripture, but because through the Spirit it was said, I'm gonna get it. Let's see. This is 2 Timothy chapter 2 and 10. It says, "Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain the salvation which is in Hamashiach Yahushua with eternal glory." And in the AMP it says, "For this reason I am ready to patiently endure all things for the sake of those who are the elect, God's chosen ones, so that they too may obtain the salvation which is in Hamashiach Yahushua, and with it the reward of eternal glory." Which is why we are. This is who we are here for, the elect, and it's all manner of things that we have to go through in this life, including things that benefit us and leveling us up in the spirit, and just things that we have to go through just a part of the journey for the elect's sake. But like it said, the quote said, "The real flex is how many lives you can positively impact." So now I'm gonna get a couple scriptures. I'm gonna get this one in Matthew 5 and 14 first. And this is Yahweh Shah speaking. He said, which I'm starting at 13. It says, "Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost his savor," which I'm gonna read in the AMP as well, "wherefore shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men." And in the AMP Salaki, it said, "Ye are the salt of the earth," which the salt, it says, in ancient times, salt was often used as a preservative. Similarly, followers of Yahweh Shah are to preserve both the gospel message and the values of Yahweh Shah. They say Christian values, but just a follower of Yahweh Shah values in the secular world. So it says, "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its taste or purpose, how can it be made salty? It is no longer good for anything, but to be thrown out and walked on by people when the walkways are wet and slippery. You are the light of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah, to the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden." And in the KJV it says, "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden." And this is the point. We are the light of the earth, because we have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. This earth and the way that it's being ruled and ran is in complete darkness. And just like Yahweh Shah, which we're going to get that too in John, we are now the light of this earth too. We are the ones representing Yahweh Shah on earth. So, and as the scriptures say, Yahweh Shah, he is the light. And like I said, we are the ones representing Yahweh Shah because we are coming in the same spirit of Yahweh Shah. And the spirit of Yahweh Shah is the spirit of prophecy as well, which I'm going to get that in just a second. Matter of fact, let me get it now. Revelations 19 and 10. "And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shah. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahweh Shah is the spirit of prophecy." And in the KAMP, It says, then I fell down at his feet to worship him, but he stopped me and said to me, you must not do that. I am a fellow servant with you and your brothers and sisters who have and hold the testimony of Yahweh Shah. Worship the Most High alone, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, for the testimony of Yahweh Shah is the spirit of prophecy. His life and teaching are the heart of prophecy. Right. As it says, the spirit of Yahweh Shah, the testimony of Yahweh Shah is the spirit of prophecy. And the men of the Lord are coming in that same spirit. So, like it said, ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on the hill cannot be hid. And just think about how many lives have been positively impacted. How many relationships with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai have been established because of this truth and because of the teaching and preaching of the gospel. Like, just imagine how many relationships have been reestablished, reconnected, with Yahweh Shai of the elect. Verse 15, it says, neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. That house being the nation of Israel, and primarily the elect, because we know that only the elect is going to get it. Those whose name was written in the book of life, they are the only ones who's going to get it and understand it. But Yahweh Shai said, look, we don't put candles on, we don't hide candles under things. We put it basically in plain view for everybody to benefit from it, And this is how we are walking in the earth. The way, not only just preaching and teaching on camera, but even more so off camera and in our daily lives, because not everybody has to know what you believe in for you to positively impact their lives. And I know everybody, got their experience and got their own testimony, and I got mine as well with just the different jobs that I work, and even some of the friends I have, like, people that's still in the world, but they, cool. I see just how influential I am, positively influential I am because of this truth. But even more so with coworkers, because I'm around them much more often. And I see just how positively influential I am to them, to the point to where they start to do some of the things that I do. And they're much older than me, But I know age doesn't have anything to do with it. But in their mind, they're baffled because I'm much younger, and they would probably assume less experienced in certain areas. But once they get to know and see how I walk, and I'm walking with wisdom, and they don't fully understand why or how, even though it's this truth, it's a positive impact, because I even see how their decision making and even some of their conversation is different, especially when it's around me, But this is where Yahweh Shai said we was going to be into it said to the house, which is the nation of Israel, but even more so for the elect. Verse 16, it says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Right, so Yahweh Shai I'm going to read in the AMP, it said, let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good deeds and moral excellence and recognize and honor and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So, right, and this started with our elders and apostles, on down. And it started with their elders, we're following our leadership. And they positively impacted our lives, and they still do to this day. And we are doing the same thing, positively impacting those that's around us. Now let me get another one. Okay, now it's John. John chapter 1. I'm going to start at 1. It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Most High, and the Word was God. I was reading in the AMP. I'm going to stay in the KJV. It says, the same was in the beginning with the Most High. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. It's talking about Yahweh Shai and the power to bestow life. Okay, I was reading the AMP. I'm gonna just stay in the KJV. Right. But this is talking about Yahweh Shai. It says in him was life, and the life was the light of man. It starts with this wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Because we see the way that this world is being governed and ruled by Esau Edom is literally leading to death, mass death, war. That's why there's so much war going on. That's why so many people dying. And people that have nothing to do with the war, that have nothing to do with the decision making of the earth, they're dying because of the leaders who's making those decisions. So it's much more death going on under the dark rulership of this earth, of this world, you know? And the way Yahweh Shai had orchestrated life to exist and to flourish on earth, it leads to more life being produced. You know, following after the laws, statutes, and commandments leads to more life being produced. But the way Esau Edom has ruled the earth, it leads to death. So like it said, verse 5, and the light shineth in the darkness, and the darkness comprehendeth it not. Now I'm going to read verse 5 in the AMP. It says, the light shines on in the darkness. And let's see what that darkness say. So hard trying to hit that footnote. Okay, it says, an example, the world immersed in sin, and that stands in opposition to the Most High and biblical truth. That's literally the world we're living in right now. That operates in total wickedness under the rulership of Esau Edom. But the light, which is Yahweh Shai, it said it shines in the darkness, and the darkness does not understand it or overpower it or appropriate it or absorb it, and it is unreceptive to it. So there's nothing that this world can do to diminish this truth. Nothing that this world can do, or nothing that Esau Edom can do to diminish the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua or this truth. And those who have it. Like Esau Edom is not going to win. Verse 6, back in the KJV, there was a man sent from the Most High whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of the light, that was the true light, which lighteth every man that cometh into the world. Right, so let's get it was John chapter 3. Okay. It's John chapter 3, verse 19. It says, and this is the condemnation, that the light is come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Right. So the people in this world, it said they're under that dark influence, and it's mainly going into the Israelites. It said, this is the condemnation, that the light is coming to the world, this truth, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which Yahweh Shai first did physically come into the world, but now he's here spiritually through his men. It said, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. And like it say in the AMP, it says, this is the judgment, that is the cause for indictment, the test by which people are judged, the basis for the sentence. The light has come into the world, and people love the darkness rather than the light, for their deeds were evil. I'm trying to hit that footnote. Okay, see note on 1 and 5. Oh, it's chapter 1, verse 5. Okay, we already got that one. Right, so like it said, the people of this world, they love the darkness rather than light. But Yahweh Shai walked this life perfectly, you know, without error. And people, they did not like him, you know. They hated Yahweh Shai. But Yahweh Shai was a positive influence on those that did believe, starting with the 12 disciples. And then later on, more disciples. And then once the 12 disciples got built up and became the 12 apostles, they was the leaders. They was the light. And they had disciples under them. You know, people associated with Yahweh Shai through them too. Yeah, well, associated with Yahweh Shai through them too. And they became positive influences. You know, that's how this works. So let me get one more. It's John chapter 12, verse 46. Verse 46, getting straight to the point. It says, I am come a light into the world, that whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness. And in the AMP, it says, I am come as light into the world, so that everyone who believes and trusts in me as Savior, all those who anchor their hope in me and rely on the truth of my message, will not continue to live in darkness. Right? It said they will not continue to live in darkness, because it's going to be a change in a mindset, and then it's going to be a change of behavior. But like Yahweh Shah was a very positive, the most positive influence we can ever have, and best example. He trains his men and his disciples to be the exact same way, to be light in the world, so that they may too have people to so that they too can be positive influences on our people, and ultimately it's gonna affect the elect the greatest, with the elect waking up. And they said they're the ones that's not going to continue to live in darkness. That's both ignorance and in wickedness. The elect is going to wake up. But being that positive influence, like the quote said, the real flex is how many lives you can positively impact. And positively impacting lives is mainly coming from this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. So Lord will, that was a quick edifying lesson. I want to give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Until next time, shalom.